Acha, one more thing before I close this pipe. What is the importance of this? Actually, what is this is interview question. Now, from today, we are going to start Vivas. So there you will experience. I will be asking you what is this. So here, what answer is expected is this. Obviously, you have to explain importance of this. Not this is not sufficient. If you just give this, it's not sufficient. This is a reference which refers to the current or invoking object. Then I will ask next question. What is the importance of this? At that time, this answer will be expected. This answer will be expected. And you know what? After telling so many times to students, they give this answer. What is the importance of this? Suppose we have one setter method. Their local member name is same as instance member. So there, in order to avoid that ambiguity, we say this dot name is equal to. So that is the importance of this. That is not the importance of this. That is just one use of this. That is secondary. The importance of this, you have to explain this paragraph. Remember that. Huh? If you give this answer, you will be wrong. Even if you are not that wrong, but I will give you wrong. Because that is not a importance. That is just one use. But the importance is this. Okay? Keep that thing in mind. Okay. Now day 2. Day 2, some of the things we have discussed. So day 2 also has got flow.txt. Flow.txt. So first of all, class and object and their diagrams is there in day 2. I think those diagrams are mentioned in the Word files. Okay, it's there. And already we have seen class and object diagram. Default value of each data type. Default value of each data type. So default value of each data type. Yesterday I told you that instance member, even if you don't initialize, it's okay. Instance members, even if you don't initialize, it's okay. They get default values. But local member must be initialized before use. If you use local member without initializing, you get compilation error. So instance member, even if we don't initialize, it's okay. They get default values. So what default values they get? I mean, we have various primitive values like integer, double, float, etc. So how can we check that? So in day 2, we have default value of each data type. It's a Word file, but it has got that public class demo. Demo.jar. Okay, what is there in the code? In this code, we have byte A, short B, int C, long D, float E, double F, character G, boolean H. All these are primitive. Yesterday we learned that there are 2 categories of data types in Java, primitives and reference type. Reference type means class or interface. So here string comes in under reference type. And we haven't initialized any member here. In the main function, we create object of the class and then we access rep.a, rep.b, rep.c. So what values integral type they take, what values floating point, float double they take, what value character takes, what value boolean takes, and what value reference type takes. We will come to know in this output. Look at that. byte 0, short 0, int 0, long 0, float 0.0, double 0.0. Character is nothing, invisible. Okay. Boolean is false and reference type is null. Reference type is null. Always remember that. Character, by the way, is not showing anything. It's not showing. That does not mean it's empty. Character's default value is, character in Java is Unicode character. Unicode character's default value is /u and 4 zeros. This is the default value. That cannot be seen. It's not readable. So it proves that even if you don't initialize instance members, whether it is a primitive or reference type, they get default initial value. So this discussion is there in this file. The name of the file is default value of each data type.
Sir, can you add that /u 0000 in this file?
Here I mentioned.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome. What is this? Already we have discussed. What is null pointer exception and its solution? What is null pointer exception and its solution? Okay, for that we need to write one code. Or we can use our existing code. So, class A. Class. Because here our focus is null pointer exception, that's why I have chosen a simple class with simple method. We need a diagram here. So in this code we have new A. Now A does not have any members, so but still new A. This is object of A. And the reference is OB. This is what happens when you say AOB is equal to new A, that you know very well. Huh? And then using that OB, we are calling display. So it gets called. Here, after this, if I say OB is equal to null. So first of all, try to understand when I say OB is equal to null, what will happen in the diagram. OB is a reference referring to object of A. OB is a reference referring to object of A. Now when you say OB is equal to null, this 2000 will go and null will come. That means OB does not refer to object of A. That means A will become unreferred. Unreferred. Unreferred means nobody is referring to that object. Nobody is referring to that object. Now in Java, inside heap, whenever you have any object which is not referred by any reference, whenever you have any object which is not referred by any reference, that is marked for garbage collection. Garbage collection means it will be released from the heap memory. That will be removed from the heap memory. That is garbage collection. So what is garbage here? Garbage, don't take the literal meaning. Here garbage means that object which is not referred by any reference from the stack. Unreferred object. So when you say OB is equal to null, OB does not refer to this object. So this object becomes unreferred. And unreferred object is called as garbage, which gets released automatically in Java. You don't have to release. That's a good thing about Java. You don't have to bother about unreferred object in Java. Unreferred object will be automatically removed, which is called as garbage collection. But that does not happen immediately. When it happens, that depends on various JVM implementation, various platforms. But one thing is confirmed, as soon as you have any object which is unreferred inside heap, it is marked for garbage collection. So marking is done that it is going to go. When it will go, that we cannot predict across various JVM implementation, but it is going to go. And now, using that same OB, if I try to call display, for our discussion, I am taking one more statement here, done. Notice this, after OB is equal to null, if I say OB.display, null pointer exception at line 15. At line 15 means this line. So what is null pointer exception? Try to understand. In day 2, this is a file. When a reference contains null, OB is equal to null, OB contains null. And if you invoke a method on it, OB.display, you get null pointer exception. So first try to understand the definition of null pointer exception. What is null pointer exception? When the reference contains null and you use the same reference to invoke method, you get null pointer exception. Solution. Now exception, just notice when this exception comes, what happens to this done statement? Done statement is not executed. That means in Java, when you get exception, your execution gets aborted. Your execution gets aborted. That's why done we cannot see in the output. We got null pointer exception and our program got aborted. Solution for this is now null pointer exception. Exception handling is a separate topic in Java. So whenever you see any exception, you might say, oh, we have to handle that exception. But no, remember in Java, there are some exceptions which are not recommended to be handled, and null pointer exception is one of them. You can handle using exception handling technique. It's not at all recommended to handle null pointer exception because you can avoid null pointer exception using simple if condition. How can you avoid this? Before checking the method ob.display, you can avoid it. What I do is I write one more program, save as null pointer null demo1 .java. So comparative study, null demo1. How can you avoid? You can check if ob not equal to operator null, then only call ob.display. No exception, because here in this case our ob is null, so ob not equal to null, false, so ob.display won't execute, and then done is print. Make sure you followed null pointer exception. Is that clear? Null pointer exception.
Yes, sir.
Very basic thing.